Ooh, your boy needs to get some lotion on his face. Just exfoliated and I got a little scabby doodle. Anyhow, don't pay attention to the dot on my forehead. We're back. It's been a minute. It's been more than a minute. It's been like a month or two. Philosophy for the modern being has taken a backseat. Got a lot of stuff going on. Kiddos were on vacation for the holidays. We've got the podcast that's been going on. We lost or are in the process of losing a couple people. They've decided to branch out for my job. And so I've been very busy. But I just wanted to take some time to talk to the peoples and just reflect a little bit. I think this is also somewhat of a diary for me here. What happens is I just get tapped for inspiration. And if you know me as on a personal level, you know that I enjoy painting, I enjoy playing guitar, I enjoy drawing. I'm getting a little too old to skateboard. My body I don't do it enough to maintain the physique that I need to have. My legs aren't as strong as they used to be. After I broke my ankle when I was 27, skateboarding took the backseat. But what I'm getting at is it's not that I've lost passion for these things. It's just hard to force inspiration for me. And I'm leaving the comments section open for that. Is there anything that you guys are struggling with? I wouldn't say losing joy in life. I've taken up fishing. It's a nice bonding moment with my son. Recently got into BFS. So that's a whole... I've been putting a lot of resources into getting the gear together and being able to take my son out. He's not quite ready for BFS. We are doing the finesse fishing, but for him it's spinning rod. But that's where a lot of my free time has been, is just bonding with him. He's an older child. We have 2 children, and his younger sister does get a lot more attention, but that's out of necessity. I try to explain to him too, when he was 2 and 3 years old, he got all the attention. Even after she was born, he still got a lot of attention, but it's some of it was out of necessity. And that's where his sister is right now, we have to pay a lot of attention to her because she's a typical toddler. She gets into things, she tries to be independent beyond her means, and she just needs an eye on her all the time. So, when I can, I sneak away with him to the lakes and streams and ponds that we have in the area, and we go hunt lunkers. I'm just curious what everybody else does for inspiration. If you're watching this, don't hesitate to drop a comment. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to watch the whole video. I'm just, putting my feelers out, seeing if there's other like-minded people around. What do you do for inspiration? I used to smoke weed a lot. I'll just be honest. There's something about a forced, different state of mental being that sometimes can spark inspiration. And I don't know, maybe I'm not inspirationless. I'm just putting my inspiration into other avenues of life. There's some times where I'd really like to be painting or drawing, and I can't afford to be zoned out for 2 or 3 hours, which is a typical painting session or drawing session for me. I won't spend less than a half an hour on those things, and a lot of times, like, that's all I can afford to give to these avenues is a half hour or less. For me, it's kind of like sleep. It takes me about a half hour to fall asleep, and if I don't have, say I'm tired on a day off and I feel like a nap's a good choice, if I only have an hour to nap, I won't even attempt it, because it takes me a half hour to fall asleep, and a half hour of rest really just isn't worth it, in my opinion. I just wake up groggier and like in a daze. So I don't do that. Homie don't play that. But yeah, we're trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm trying to, better my physical and mental health to a point where I can have an abundance of energy and maybe explore those old passions again. But I'm also not getting too upset about it. I lead a pretty productive life. Most days it's go until it's time to sleep. So I hold myself accountable, but I don't judge myself too harshly, which I think is pretty good. I'd say that's a decent way to live. You can always strive for better, but don't beat yourself up if the returns aren't immediate or things can't happen in the time frames that you want. Time's just a construct anyhow, right? It's true. You start treating your life that way. It's unfortunate for the people that work 9 to 5s. I used to be in a similar situation where if you're working retail or whatever, and you've got a set amount of hours each day that you have to get things done, it kind of puts a damper on the time as a construct thing, because your life revolves around that scheduling. I'm very fortunate where, yes, I do kind of have a rough time frame during the day where I have to work. Like, hours of operations are technically from 8 to 4, but within that time frame I have several contracts to fulfill, and I always have things to do, and I make my own schedule, so I can, if I'm not feeling it, I can take off and go home and do some paperwork, or I can save it for later in the evening when things are a bit calmer. I'm definitely appreciative of this job because of the flexibility. As long as the contracts get fulfilled, and get that covered. I'm just a real person. I got flaws. One is a scab on my forehead. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. I felt like I needed to get another episode out. This whole channel has been put on the back burner for too long. And it's not really about views or subscriptions from folks like you watching this. It's more about just getting messages out and interacting with people. My brain just is bubbling most days, and I gotta get it all out, and maybe this is more of a forum that I should be starting online. But this is fairly easy. I can take advantage of that downtime when I'm driving. for work, and the forum thing is kind of a specific format where I have to be in front of my phone or the laptop typing away, and I can't be distracted. So this helps. I just dock my phone, hit record, drive, and talk, get out what I need to get out, and hopefully at some point we'll get more interactions. I'd love to hear from people. How do you feel about what I'm talking about? What are your opinions? What are you going through? Is any of my advice helping you? Let's converse. Let's be humans for a little bit. Let's not be programmed robots that wander around through our day just stressed out and anxious because of what we have to do and overcomplicating our lives. And that's one thing that I know I've mentioned a few times, and what I keep coming back to, in different ways. There's getting your mind off from your mind is super important, whether you do it through meditation, exploring, like I said, art and whatever. Art for me is like a Zen thing. When I do art, it's the only thing that I'm focusing on, and it helps me be mindful. Mindful in the respects that you are focused on what you're doing. You're living in the moment. You're planted where your feet are. You're not worried about what's happening tomorrow. You're not worried about the past. And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of people when we grow up. These constructs that have been built around us to force productivity, and it's more so with males. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen with females, but I feel like our society in general has this sort of provider outlook for males. We've not been allowed to be in tune with our emotions. We are seen as almost a tool if we're not providing or being of use in some way, whether it be labor or teaching or doing. We always have to be doing something. I don't know how to say it quite the way I want to, but when you think of relaxation, you think of a female attribute. Like, you don't typically see a spa day as a male thing. You don't see bubble baths and rest and pampering yourself as a male thing, right? We're not allowed to relax. That's why a lot of times females, I've seen this personally with exes, and I still see it. My current wife, my only wife, I've only done it one time. Right there. It's the only ring I wear. No, I have a rubber one that I wear sometimes if I'm, planning on being rugged at the job. But anyhow, stay focused, Aaron. She's a wonderful person, and I feel like she's the most team player-ish of any female that I've had a relationship with. But there's still tendencies where she gets a little jealous of me relaxing. She takes care of herself, and she does have priorities. But it seems like sometimes maybe my rest is secondary to her rest, or we get into arguments because of one person is relaxing and the other one hasn't been able to, or whatever. I'm more mindful of it. I've tried to bring it up a couple times. I think maybe we should have a chat about it this evening. But I just because I'm a dude doesn't mean that I don't need to recover. Especially someone that's maybe a little bit more in tune with his emotions and a little bit more introspective than most dudes. Relaxation and tapping into what makes me happy is essential. That's the meaning of life, is to live life. And in my opinion, a life well lived is one that exudes happiness. That's not to say that happiness is the only emotion that happens, and you got to roll with the punches. You can't have the best day ever without having some bad days to make you appreciate those good days. And that's just the way life is. Yeah. So this little thing is taking a weird turn. I was just talking about hobbies and trying to reignite passion and how putting my feelers out for people that deal with inspiration-based lines of work. Like if you're a writer, you get writer's block. People talk about it all the time, but that happens in every aspect of art. And I'm using art as a general term for anything aesthetically pleasing, because that's the definition, right? Whether it be music, that's an auditory aesthetic, visual art as regular, what most people think of: painting, drawing, sculptures, so on and so forth. But art is multifaceted, and it can apply to a lot of things, but that's kind of, you need the inspiration. So but maybe those are tied in together. Maybe just my lack of rest and relaxation is the reason that I've been kind of slacking on the inspiration, or just not as involved as I used to be with the things that brought me joy. So let me know what you think. We're coming up on 18 minutes. I'm at the job site. I need to get going. But let me know what you think. Is there any tricks that you have for inspiration, other than drugs and alcohol? I'm a father of 2. I ain't got time for that shit. I got an on-call job. I do important work. We ain't trying to party hardy. Okay? So, let me know if you have any natural, acceptable methods of inspiration. And let me know how you feel about the whole male versus female kind of where we are as a society. I feel like we're on the right path, that the lines are kind of getting blurred, and we should all just be treating each other as humans, because that's all we are. We're just trying to coexist on this planet and enjoy our lives. But unfortunately, there's something so primal and so ingrained as a society that if you're a male, you need to be a provider, and if you're not providing to other people, then you're not of a high value, which is completely fucked, because you got to take care of yourself in order to take care of others, right? It's really that simple. So yeah, let's all be a little bit more mindful of that. And that's not to say that females have it easy. I grew up with a single mother. She was stressed all the time, trying to make ends meet, trying to make sure that I was well taken care of, and looked after when she couldn't be available, because she would often work like 11 hours. She was a dental assistant. So if you're not aware, most dentistries are closed, at least in this area, on Fridays. So Monday through Thursday is how you get your 40 hours. You have a smaller window to get the same amount of time. So she would often work, 9-10 hour days, and then with the commute, it ended up being about 11 hours that she was gone. I was going to the bus stop by myself. When I got home, there was nobody there waiting for me. I'd have to get myself a snack most of the time. There was some times where maybe she ran late at work and it was old kid cuisine in the microwave for dinner. That's not to diss my mom, She would call in and check on me, make sure I was home. She did what she could with what she had, and I'm grateful for her. And I'm saying all this because it just speaks to, yes, there are females that work just as hard, if not harder, than some males, but that doesn't really negate the kind of old concepts that are still in place about men being the provider for the family and taking the brunt of the workload, so to speak. I don't really like that. I actively fight that. I do more dishes than my wife does. I do just as much laundry as she does. Yes, she does some things a little bit more than me, but that's just because I don't notice them. Like, she likes to dust and I don't, because I don't stare at, the table, or not the tabletops. I use the tabletop, so I see them and I do clean them when they need to be cleaned. But like bookshelves and stuff like that, she just, oh, that looks dusty. Me, I'm just focused on getting the book out and reading to the kids. I'm not so observant when it comes to, is this completely clean or not. But, that's one of the few things that she does a little bit more than I do, is vacuuming and dusting. My kind of attitude with vacuuming is like, unless food gets, like, if I can see crumbs, I'll definitely get out the vacuum. But like, it's just high traffic areas. Like, I just feel like, why am I doing this? It's just gonna be dirty in 2 seconds. Yes, I know certain maintenance needs to be done, and you don't want the dust and dirt to accumulate, because then it's harder to get rid of. And yes, it's maintenance. I get it. I just don't. My mind's not there. It's not something that is pressing to me to take care of. I'd rather be taking care of laundry, doing dishes, cleaning up the kids' room. That's a never-ending task. But yeah, I think we should all strive for more equal partnerships, especially if you're not, a well-off individual and you both have to work. Then, if both of you are bringing home money, then both of you should be doing chores as well. You can't really expect either party, if they're not a stay-home individual, to be doing everything. It's not fair. And if they weren't there, you would have to do it yourself. So show a little appreciation and help your partner out around the house. Yes, we need to make money, but life isn't about money. So here we are. We're coming up on 25 minutes. I've just blah, 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 blah for almost a half an hour. So thank you for listening. If you made it all the way through, you can like it. You can like the video. You could do that. You could subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to, but you could if you wanted to. All right. That's it for this one. Deuces.